Hello, welcome to another edition of CBS Prescale Acquisition Program. My name is Lukman Adigu. I'll be taking you guys through shoemaking. Why the pandemic won't allow us to have our normal physical class, so we decided to move it online. We'll be working on 3 pairs of slippers. A half mole slippers, a Birkenstock slippers, and normal female skies. So I'll outline the tools and the materials we'll be using for the slippers. As you all know, it is a hammer for hammering stuff. This is a punch. It is for putting holes in material. This is a ruler. I'm sure you know that. This is a scissors. Normally, when you are in this kind of work, when you are dealing with hard and soft materials, it's normal for you to have 2 scissors. One will be for the hard material, while the other will be for the soft material. Let's say, for instance, you want to cut a thick material like this. This is a rubber material. Then you need a scissors, another scissors to cut the thick material, so you don't wear the other scissors out. And then you need the other scissors to cut out the leather part and all. This is a gum. We have different kind of gum. This is a glue stick kind of gum. It comes in different colors. We have the OCR, we have the top one, so you can get one depending on how best you can work with them. But I prefer this one. Wow, this is it's called a chemical gum. It's not much of like a synthetic kind of gum. I'm using it to gum rubber material, like something like this. It works best on something like this really well. Wow, these are the last. Let's say this is a leg. This is a leg, so we can't possibly take someone's leg and put it inside the slippers we want to make. So we need a representation of the leg. So that's why we have the mold. It's called, you can call it last, you can call it mold, depending on how you are familiar with it. This is a plastic type. We have the wooden type also. It comes in different sizes, different shapes. We have the one for shoes too. The ones with the hole inside here are the ones used for making slippers. We have the female one, we have the male type. I think that's the tools we have. Okay, and this is the file. So in the absence of a normal filing machine, we are going to be doing a little bit of hard labor to file the edge of our material we have done. And this is the sandpaper. So the sandpaper comes in 2 forms. We have the sharp sandpaper for roughening of edges and the roughening of the surface, while the other one is smooth sandpaper for the finishing. When you rough something, you have to blend it out to the smooth. And this is a cutting knife. Let's say we want to cut through some material, so we use this one to cut in between, then remove the material. So as time goes on, we'll work with it so you know how we are going to use them. I think that's the tools we have on ground. So this is a Birkenstock. Birkenstock, like a German word, is a Birkenstock. And whenever you use a Birkenstock, you have 2 options for the sole. It's either you use a Mako sole, like a Mako. Mako is a kind of foamy material. It can be foamy and hard at the same time, so it can be durable to be used as a sole. So we'll be combining the Birkenstock with this Mako, and we'll do the upper on it. And this is, we call this generally, it doesn't really have its own name, but we call it double sole. Because this can serve separately and this can serve separately. But in this case, we are combining the 2 together to make a half shoe. This is a fabric material. You can see this is velvet. So we'll be working with this. We'll be using this on this to make a house shoe. And this one, this is an ornament for the design for the house shoe. This material comes in different forms, different sizes. This is called Nora. You can see it's kind of rubber material. It's hardened, like very hard, but not too hard. It can be hard and comfortable at the same time. If you look at the edge here, you can see it's not too thick. So they come in various sizes from 2.5 millimeters to the 2.8 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 3.5, 4 mm, 5 mm, 6 mm, depending on the purpose, depending on what you want to use it for. Now, regarding the millimeter, the higher the millimeter, the more heavier the material is going to become. So in this case, we want to make something very comfortable. So we are going to be using the 3 mm and the 3 mm because you are making a female slide, so we don't expect it to be too heavy. So this one will be the insole. For the insole, why would this one will be for the outsole? Talking of insole, insole is the part where you put your leg on the slippers, while the outsole is the part touching the ground. And this one will be used as the top heel. This will be the outermost layer, the last layer, the half layer. But if you are using Nora 3 for the up, you are using for the insole, you are using Nora 3 for the outsole. You can't possibly use Nora 3 for the sole, because it's not going to be for the top heel, because it's not going to be durable enough. As time goes on, you will get my explanation of the outsole, insole, and the top heel. So that's where our crepe material comes in. Crepe is a rubber material, advanced rubber material. It's very durable, it doesn't wear off easily. So that's what we're using for our top heel. And this is our leather. This is a cheetah material. So we're using this to make a design for this. While our Birkenstock, and talking of leather, we have different kind of leather. I can't possibly tell you how to recognize a very good leather unless you go to the market, you check them out yourself. You need physical tutoring for that to know how to recognize a good leather. We have different kind of good leather. We have the synthetic leather, we have the real leather, we have the soft leather, we have the hard leather. So your purpose will determine the kind of leather you want to use and what you want to use it for. So meanwhile, we have the dyed leather too, but let's not go into that part. So we'll be using this one. As you can see, this is very soft. But as time goes on, I'll explain when we want to use it. I'll show you how we can use it and how we can make it thicker. This is an animal skin material. This is a nubuck leather. All these leathers comes in different designs. As we have this cheetah material, we have the snake skin material, we have the leopard skin material, crocodile skin material. So it depends on your choice, maybe your customer's choice, like maybe the occasion you want to use it for. This is a nubuck material. It's more of like a suede material. You know, normal suede material with air on them that I can easily brush off. But nubuck is a family of suede. Let's just put it that way. But without the air, but with the same surface, but without the air. That's nubuck. So nubuck will go best with the Birkenstock material. Well, this material is leather too, but it's soft leather. Just like you can use it as lining. Just like when you sew your clothes and you have to line it the inside so it doesn't show your parts. So in this case, we use our lining to adding our leather to make it stand, to make it durable. So there are times when you go to the market, you are looking for a particular kind of material, and then you can't find the very hard one that will work alone. So you can buy a soft one if you don't have any other option. Then with the help of a lining, you are going to make the material stand. It's going to be okay for you to work. So I believe I'll do the rest of the explanation while we go on with the work. So I'll be starting with this piece. I think this is like, it's not the simplest. So let's just start with this piece. See, this paper template is as important as anything we want to do here. Because without this, there's no way you can move on. Now, it's not easy for you to just take a pen and start sketching. This is an insole pattern. Like I said, insole is where you put your leg on. That's what we call insole generally. But how do you achieve your insole? How do you get that shape for your insole? So we have to sketch it out. But I believe you can sketch it out. So what you can do is take your sister's slippers, take your brother's slippers, put it on a paper, mark out your slippers. You have your own insole. You can have as many insole as you want. So that's how you get your insole, just in case you cannot sketch your own. So as time goes on, the more you practice, so you'll be able to modify shapes, modify your own size, maybe extend size, know that okay, if you get a 38 shape and you want to make a size 40 slippers, this is how you are going to extend it to get your 40. So this one is size 40. So working on a size 40 slippers. So let's start with making the insole. So get your pen. This is the face of our Nora. This is our Nora material. You cannot mark on the face. You can mark on the face, but we are using a pen. You don't want to stain the surface of the material, so that's why you have to use the back. So you get your pen, you put it on the back of your Nora. So you mark. Shoemaking, when you are marking anything, you mark in pairs like left and right. Any mistake and you are going back to the market to get another material. So I'm sure you don't want that. So you mark your left. Be very careful at this point because even professionals do make mistakes at times. So when you mark your left, then you turn the material to mark your right. And be careful when you are marking, not to with the direction of your pen has to be 90 degrees to the material you are marking. So you mark the material. As you can see, this is our material. This is the left, this is the right. So, but if there is any mistake and you mark the same side of the leg, so by the time you cut out your material, you'll be having two odd legs. So you have to be careful with that. So you mark your insole. At the same time, you mark your sole, like the outer sole. So the same way you mark the first one, you mark your outer sole. The same way you mark the first one. Remember, we are using a lighter material for the insole, and we are using a thicker material for the sole. So the thicker the material, the higher the material, the more heavy it may become. While there are some other material that are thick but doesn't have much weight, so it depends on the purpose, what you want to achieve with your design. So we have our insole. This is the sole. So while this is the insole, we have our sole and the insole. Sole and the insole, left, right, left, right. So next thing we are going to do is to cut them out. For the insole, you can cut the insole first. You want to cut on the line. You want to cut on the line of the insole of what you just marked. You have to cut gently. Don't need to be as fast as I am, so to avoid any mistake, because you want to maintain the shape. Because the more bent your cutting is, the more difficult it will be for you to finish your work. It's going to affect the finishing if there's any distortion in the shape. So you cut gently. So this is our left leg. As you can see, insole, left. So now let's cut the right. So these are left and the right insole. This is a pair. So no mistake. Be sure to get cross-check, mark, cross-check like 2 times, because you can easily make a mistake. So you have your insole, left and right insole. Keep it. So now moving to the sole. When you want to cut the sole, you want to add a little, you want to add little to when you are cutting your sole. You see the reason why when we want to gum the insole and the sole together. So when you want to mark, you don't want to mark on the line. Just give it a little margin. It shouldn't be much too, because you're still going to trim it out. But it's essential you add a little at this level. So you want to achieve something like this, you can see the space by the side. So these are so left and right, insole, left and right. So we move to our top heel. So our top heel, we are going to be gumming our top heel on the sole. Now for the top heel, remember we are using a crepe material stronger than both the insole and the sole, so it can last longer. So our insole will be somewhere around, our top heel will be somewhere around, we are working on a female slippers, so 6 centimeters from the bottom, from the heel region of the sole. So as you know, the top heel is just somewhere, it's something very small around there, just a little cap at the sole, beneath the sole. So we want to use the 6 centimeters, because we can't possibly put our top heel up to here, that won't be okay. We just want to elevate the back a little bit and not making this material, the sole, wear off easily. So we mark 6 centimeters. Our target is 6 centimeters. Then you get your ruler, make a straight line, then you mark. So from here, to here is 6 centimeters. That's the region, that's the space allocated for our top heel. So you do the same on the second leg too. 6 centimeters. Make it straight as much as possible. So we have our 6 centimeters here too. So we mark the top heel. The length of the top heel too will be 6 centimeters. So get your 6 centimeters around there. 6 centimeters. So then you can mark. If this is your 6 centimeters, you put this one on it. So this is where your top heel. This is how it's going to look like when you mark out your top heel. So this is both top heel. The top heel does not have to be in pairs, as we are putting it at the back of the sole. So it doesn't necessarily need to have a left and right. You can use the left. Maybe just take one from the sole, use it to mark the two. Then we cut it out. You can add a little extra. So that's that for our top heel. So we want to gum the top heel to the sole. So the way we work is we do the sole and the insole, we get the insole and the sole ready, then we work on the upper. So after working on the upper, we gum the upper to the insole, then we gum both the upper and the insole to our sole. That's our guide. So since we won't be using any machine, so that's where sandpaper comes in. So we just make everywhere rough. You have to get it rough to the line you drew. Get it rough enough so that the gum can stay on it. Because if you do not do it this way and apply gum like that, the top heel is not going to stick to the material. Something like this. Okay. So the same thing on the other leg. you can stick with the saw. So the next thing is to apply our gum. Take a brush, put a little gum inside your bottle. You don't need to put enough, just put what you need. And put what you need, don't put so much. Then take your gum gently and rub it. Do not let the gum exceed the line you drew to avoid much cleaning. I like keeping it neat when I'm working. And be careful not to stain your working surface because they may end up staining your material. So put gum on this and the top here. Put enough gum around, do not miss any spots. At the same time, do not put too much because they may end up getting late to dry. So you just want to put enough gum around the surface. Make sure the gum is well circulated. So while we wait for that one to dry, you can start working on the upper. So we have to scratch the surface of the insole too. So you just do that by taking a sandpaper. Now we are filing the back where we are applying gum, not the fine surface. We are filing the already rough side, not the surface we are meant to use. So do not file the surface we are meant to use. We are filing the back where you made your marking. Now for the upper, I'm making a very simple design. Using just a ruler. I'm making a cross here, like around the line here, and then something around the top. So our first line here is going to be like 3 centimeters, while the one going from here to here is going to be 2 centimeters, and the one from here is going to be 2 centimeters also. We're having something like this by the time we finish. Let's say this is so this is what we want to make. A line here, then another one going here, then one coming for the toe. So I just want to have an idea of what we want to make, so you can follow up. So this is what we want to make. So from here to here will be 3 centimeters. This line here will be 2 centimeters, while this one here will be 2 centimeters. So now I want to take into consideration the length of the material to avoid wasting your material. So 3 centimeters. If you are using your pen, you are marking at the back of the material. Then 3 centimeters and another 3 centimeters. So you connect the lines. And then this is our 3 centimeters for here. Then we have 2 centimeters next. So you mark your 2 centimeters. 2 centimeter. And the one for the so let's use okay, let's use 1.5 centimeter here to make it more feminine. Now cutting it out. This one is for this. Okay. So our second line. The second line is for here. So we're almost there. And our third line. You want to manage your material, so you have to mark close to the edge, because you can't possibly just mark in the middle, because you are going to waste everything around it when you do that. So that's why you have to start from the edge. So this is what we'll be having at the end of the day. We have this, and and that's 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 2 centimeter. And that 1.5 centimeter. So this is how our design will be looking like by the time we are done with it. And this is just for a leg, so now we have to mark the second leg. So you want to get the size of this. No, there will be allowance here for gumming, allowance here too for gumming. So the one for the thumb area. Leave enough allowance for gumming here and for gumming here. So we have for a leg, so we want to mark for the second leg. We are marking with the same measurement, but for the second leg. So now we have this. So first you mark one line to get your border. Then you do your 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter. You connect both lines the same way we did the other one. So this is our 2 centimeter. You can see that the 3 centimeter is not the same size, not the same length as the 2 centimeter, and the 2 centimeter won't be the same length as the 1.5 centimeter. Connect them together. And 1.5 centimeter. So we can mark this one here to save space. One and a half. Connect them together. So you cut out the second leg too. Same way we did the first one. Remember, do not mark anyhow. You have to manage your material. These things are expensive, so you have to manage them very well. So separate them. So if you remember, I said something about the thickness of our materials. You can see this thing is very light, so it cannot stand alone. So we need, it's just like having a support for it, because you know, in some cases where you see some slippers, when you wear them, they stand on your leg, but by the time you remove them, they just fall down. It's because the material is not thick enough. And you know, by the time you remove your slippers, it should be standing as in, maybe as in a way that it seems like there is a leg in it. You should be able to see the beauty of the slippers without a leg in it. So that's what we want to achieve now with the help of our lining. So we are going to provide support by gumming all these pieces to our support. See all this in here? There's one general name for it. It's called upper, like leather upper. When it's like this, when it's raw like this, then it's leather. By the time you start cutting them into patterns, that's when you start calling them upper. So when someone tells you, oh, bring that upper, you know that, okay, do the upper for this. So you know they are referring to the leather that has been cut into shape. So we are putting these pieces into this lining. So we look for the best part here. So you cannot just start in the middle. So you have to look for the best part. Arrange your pieces one by one, so you know where to align them and how to gum them without wasting your material. So we have 4 here. So we can put one more here. We have one. Okay, we can put one here. That way you are not wasting your material. So just get a border around them. So the next thing is we are applying gum on the back of the material. Remember, the back of the material, because this here is the surface we want to use. We want to stain it. So you apply gum gently and make sure it's touching everywhere. Because if we do not gum very well, it's going to start opening. So our top should be dry enough. We'll gum after putting our gum on the leather and the lining. The lining too is a leather, but a softer leather. And the lining too can come as a thick leather, in the sense that if you have a soft material, like a much more softer material, then to use it, to make it stand, instead of using a lining, a soft lining, you are going to use a hard lining to make it stand. In that case, the leather becomes the lining. So there are times when you are looking for a leather, you find a soft one, so you need to use something thick. So you can use the leather as a support for that leather, you use it as a lining in that case. Then apply gum randomly here, surface of the lining. Do not apply too much gum, because it will take a very long time to dry if you do that, and you are wasting your gum. Because you only need to get the gum circulated. Not as if you put more gum, it's going to stand. It's going to gum really well. You just need them circulated and avoid thickness in one region. You need it soft and circulated. So let's go on our topic. We've gone from the line we have already. So this is our topic. So this is our topic at the back. Then you hammer a little bit from the back. So we are done with the saw that way. You can trim the excess in the topping on the saw. The reason why we have our excess is for it to be convenient to gun. Because our cutting cannot be the same. The way you cut won't be the same as the way I cut. So if you add extra, so it will be comfortable for you to maneuver your way around gumming the top into the sole without wasting the material. Unlike this one, you don't need to waste much time gumming the leather to the lining. So let's wait maybe like 5 minutes. So you wait like 5 minutes, then you gum them together. So after hammering our leather and the line together, then you cut out. You can bring everything out first. Then you start cutting. Bring them out one by one. So you cut the lining and the leather to be the same. You have to cut the lining so they are aligned with the leather. So this is our upper insole and our sole. What's the next thing? It's called lasting. So lasting is when you put your upper, you gum the upper to the insole. That's the process called lasting. So we are going to punch inside here to fix this one. So before we can do that, we are going to put our mold on this. You can hold it with a nail, a small tap nail, so it doesn't move from your hand. Just want to have my light. But this time we won't be using our pen. We're using another kind of pen so we don't stain the surface of the material. So we want to have this one close to the back. Then you mark the edge here, mark the edge here. So we want to have the same size as the other side. You mark the other side too. Here. So you can see you're having it close to the back because you can't just put it here. It's not going to bring out the design. So you have to extend it to the back a little bit. Since you are still putting additional 2 layers. So we have that one. Then this one. This one will come very close to the other one, like this. So you want to mark here. You can see you have something like this. Here. So you can see how it's going to look like even before you finish it, because you are using the mold. The mold is just like a leg. It can tell you how it's going to be like before you finish it. So now for the last one, we are going to have to punch inside here to fix it. So that's where our puncher comes in. So now we have, this is our first line here for this one. For the bigger one, this is our first line. So we want to perforate inside here so we can fix this one inside. So you need to make a line. From here to here should be around 1 centimeter. Because if it gets too close to this region, it might even tear off before you finish whatever you are doing. So you need enough space, like 1 centimeter is okay for you to put whatever you want to put. Then you punch. The punch also comes in different sizes. Come in, like you can see the wideness. We have other smaller ones. This is 3.5 mm. So these are all for the first one. This is where we put the first one. Then for the second one, this is what we marked for the second one. Here and here. And for this side, here and here. So we are going for 1 centimeter also. And for this one, we can use, to get the toe measurement, we use centimeter from the edge, from the top of your insole, 4 centimeter. Then you take your material, take the width of your material, you are going to mark it. Then the other one is going to be by the side. Since we have this one here, I want to place this one. So we just mark another line for this one too. Remember, we are sticking to 1 centimeter for the side punch. 1 centimeter between the edge and your punch. 1 centimeter between the edge and your punch. 1 centimeter, like that. So then you take your knife. You want to cut a double line. Gently. So we have our hole. Something like this. So after cutting like this, then you start fixing your upper to the insole. Then you put your last to get the size. You trim off the excess if there's any. Then take your sandpaper to brush the lining, the surface of the lining, so it can stick to the insole. So next thing to apply gum on the surface we want to gum. Apply gently here and on the leather. I gum this one to the back. I gum the surface down here because there is no space to gum here. Apply gum on the surface of the Nora we are using and on the surface of the lining we are gumming down. I will wait like 5 minutes. So after waiting for our gum to dry, then we start lasting it. You gum the leather to the insole. You have to make it tight. Not very tight, but it needs to be tight. But it needs to be tight at the same time, but not too tight. So it can bring out the shape of the last. So we have something like this. Then the second leg too. Then you tap it. use your sandpaper, brush the surface, or you can use your knife to just cut a little from the leather. It's more of like skiving it. You are not cutting the full part, you are only cutting out the big parts at the edge. You want it to be flat to the insole. But if you cannot do that, then you can just leave it. You can just use your sandpaper to then you take your sole, sandpaper your sole. I'm just using this because I want to make it. I'm using sandpaper because I know not everyone will have the access to use the filing machine. But if you have access to a filing machine, you can use to make your work easier. But in the case where you don't have access to a filing machine, or you are scared to use a filing machine for starting, then you can use your sandpaper. Just roughing the surface. It's going to be a little strenuous, but it's going to go a long way. Same thing for the second leg. Careful when using the knife. You're only cutting like some layers, you're not cutting everything. So the next thing is to apply gum to the insole and the sole. That's the final, and that's the, we're getting closer to the final part. And here is very important, because if you do not apply your gum well, then it's not going to stick together very well. So the same way we'll be applying our gum, soft, circulated, and smooth. We want to get the gum to every corner of the insole. The gum should not be concentrated on a region too much. Circulate it around the material like this. You can see it's smooth everywhere. There's no over concentration anywhere. Same thing for the second leg. So we wait like 7 minutes. 7 to 10 minutes. So after waiting for like 10 minutes for the gum to dry, the next thing is to gum the insole to the sole. So you can start from the back where the top heel is. Now make sure everything is in alignment from here. So this is the reason why we added extra to the sole. So it doesn't get short however you gum it. So you have more space to maneuver. So you gum the edges around first, then you press the inside. Press as much as you can before you now start to hammer. So press the edges firmly. Have something like this. Second one too. Same way as the first. Then find a very solid surface to hammer. So you have to hammer the edge round. You don't need too much pressure. You just need to tap. You don't necessarily need to use your muzzle to hammer. Just tap. So watch for any side that's opened, then you hammer. That's it. The next thing is you want to trim the excess parts with your knife or scissors. So you cut gently, cutting away the excess part. Yes, yes. I think the knife is more effective. Be careful when you are cutting. So after trimming the edge, the next thing to do is to file the edge. So take your file. It's not going to be as easy as when you are using your filing machine. But I'm doing this for just in case you don't have a filing machine, which I know majority of us won't have access to. So, but if you have access to any filing machine, then it's going to make your work a little better. And the finishing of this is not going to be as when you are using a machine. But just in case you want to make something for yourself, so you can use this method. So you want to file everywhere as much as you can, and at the same time while you're filing, try and maintain the shape. It's very important to maintain the shape. So this is our finishing. Now after using the file, so we need to smoothen the filed area. So that's where we use our smooth sandpaper to make the surface a little smoother. So this one will be easier compared to the sharp. So we can have a smooth edge. So do this as thoroughly as you can. And the second leg too. Want to keep the upper out of the way to avoid scratching it. And this is our finished product. 100% handmade. So to add a little bit of finishing, you can polish some parts, like the edge. This is a neutral polish. So just apply it to the edge of the area you just filed. It's going to give it a glossy and cool look when you do that. So you can polish here too a little. So this is the finishing of our handmade cheetah cloth slippers. Let's call it that. So I bet you enjoyed the production of our first female slippers. So now we are moving on to the second one, which is the Birkenstock design. We'll be making this one a masculine design, so this one will be for a guy's design. But this, I'm going to have to draw the pattern from scratch. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I know when I hold my pen, something will come. So let's just sketch the pattern for this. Sketching the pattern is one of the most difficult. So there are different ways you can do it, but I'm going to be going through not one of the simplest methods. But I believe you'll be able to capture what I want to do. So to draw the pattern successfully, you may need to get one of this mold. I don't know, maybe if you can use your leg. So I just have an idea now. So I'll be making the M's design on the Birkenstock. So I just change design, just change. So this paper is a little light for pattern making, so I have to gum these two together. So I'm sure we all know M's design, and if you don't, today is your lucky day. So we need to draw something like a cover palm, something that will be extend from this region, let's say this region here, this region, up to this region. So automatically we are working on, let's say, 9 centimeter in length. So bringing out 9 centimeter here. So let's just make an estimate. Yeah. If you want to reduce the size of the paper, now, the easiest part is, for the M's design, I prefer making a side of a pattern, then duplicating that side to the other side. So that's the best way I work. So just fold the pattern into two, the paper into two. You know, when you wear your slippers, they don't come straight like this. They somewhat come from behind, like to form, like they just come out like a banana shape, but they don't normally come from here and turn out straight like this. You know, even when you see those kind of slippers, they don't look attractive. But when they come from behind, you know, you put your leg in the slippers and the design comes from behind, coil around here, then back to the originating point from here. So that is what we want to achieve. So the same way, right? Now this is your midpoint. We are working towards achieving 9 centimeters from here to here. Then, so like I said, we cannot draw it straight like this. So we have to form have to make that curvy area just a little. The bend needs to be there. It's very, very important. Then we can now do 9 centimeter from here. So let's say these are 9 centimeter. See, you need to be able to sketch to do this. Not like maybe sketch professionally, but at least be able to connect lines from one point to the other. I think we can cut in from here a little. Then trim out this part so you can see the material in full. I want to trim out this part too. Something like this. So now we have something like this. We are halfway done. Let me nail this here so we can have the best idea of what I'm working with. So this alone is a design on its own, like a cover palm. But now, we want to add the EMS pattern. What's the EMS pattern? It's just opening around there, here, opening on the 4 region of the slippers. We can draw the opening here, then we duplicate. Or we can just remove this thing, then we do it the way we've been drawing the pattern, like without the mold. Well, let's do it this way so we can all understand easily. So we want to create an opening here. No, we are working on one side first. One side at a time. So after this first side, then we duplicate to the other side. Where the measurement from here to here is like 1.5. So from here to here to will be like 1.5. So that means we are stopping around there for this one. So you just need to do a freestyle something. Just practice, draw as many patterns as you like. Then coming to the sides, I'm making the hole on the side too. There are different kind of EMS patterns. Just choose your own. You don't need to do like the original design. So if here is we have 9 centimeter here. Then the midpoint is 4.5, which is here. So 9, let's say 1 centimeter here, 1 centimeter here. So that means our opening is like, let's say 2.8 thereabouts. That's where we want to put the opening here, somewhere in this region. So you make your curved area. No, you need to follow this line, or you can just remove it, then mark it straight. Then here too. But this thing, the hole here is too wide. So this one is correct. So you can just bring this one down a little bit. So like this. To have something like this. So now let's cut our holes. And we have half ends. I think we are going to leave it like this. this is a design on its own. So I'm not doing the full M's, so we are doing half M's. So I guess we won't call it M's anymore. That's something else entirely. Something of our own making. So the next thing is to mark on the face of the back of the leather. If you are using this kind of pen, this erasable pen, then you can mark on the face of the leather because you can easily clean it off. But if you don't have any, then you mark at the back of the leather so you don't, because the pen, this ink cannot clean off from the leather. So let's use this one, but we are still marking at the back. No, I made mention of something before. That whatever you are doing, you have to do in pairs. As you can see, we have our M's on only one side of the design. So imagine I marked this one like this, then I marked the other one like this. That means I'll be having the possibility of 2 right legs by the time I turn it like this, or maybe 2 left legs. And that means I have to go to the market again to get another material. So after marking the first one, be very careful, ensure you turn the material to the pattern to the other side. So you can have the print of the design for left and right. Manage your material. So you cut it out. You have to make your cutting as neat as possible. You don't want to touch the hole now. You want to cut them separately. And while cutting, do not remove your scissors until you are done cutting. You know, not like you cut this way then you remove. You don't cut this way, you remove. Once you start cutting, you don't remove the scissors until you are done. Otherwise, you keep having breakage in the leather and it doesn't really come out very well. It won't come out very well when you do that. So, very careful when you're cutting your holes. Our design. This is the selling point, so you have to be very careful. So this is our pattern being represented. So our half M's design. You can make your own design. You need your scissors to be very sharp to be able to cut this. Now I can decide to use this leather alone because it's thick enough. But I still want to add lining to it because I just want it, I don't want to see the back of this leather. So by adding the lining, it's going to add a little beauty to the back. And instead of looking at the raw back like that. So we take our lining, mark it here, place it first, the second one, so this area, you can do it like this, try and manage the material as much as possible, and then you mark out the area needed where you'll be applying your gum, then shoot. Make sure the gum is properly circulated. Don't jump from one point to another. Do it section by section. So we wait like 5 to 7 minutes for the gum to dry. So our 7 minutes is complete. Let's go on our leather to the lining. So gently place the leather on the lining to avoid wrinkles. If you are gumming leather to leather, when you are gumming leather to leather, the wait time is normally not as much as when you are gumming, for example, this insole to the outsole, because the way leather absorbs the gum is different from the way this one absorbs it. So the wait time may be reduced when you are working on leather. You don't want the gum getting too dry, and you don't want it getting too wet. You don't want to gum it early, and you don't want to gum it late. So now, depending on the kind of gum you are using, there are some gums that dries maybe late, and some dry very fast. But anything from 5 minutes up is fine. So now you trim your lining to the edge of the leather so they can have the same shape. So we have our upper ready and ready to last. So we want to nail our mold into the backing stock so it doesn't move around. So you need a little tack nail. So gumming here, you have to align it in such a way that by the time the owner wears it, at least three to four toes is going to be showing. Because imagine putting it here, maybe the thumb is going to be showing and it doesn't really work that way. And imagine putting it here, so the sail is too backward. So you have to put it somewhere where at least 3 to 4 thumbs, because by the time someone wears this one, the first thumb will be here, second here, 3, at least 4 will be showing around there. So that's where you have to put it. That's where the beauty comes out. Now for backing stock, this area here, we have to gum this leather to the side also. We gum it to the side before lasting to the under. So what we do is, after centralizing our design area, no, it's not, it's half ends, yes. So after centralizing our design area, then you mark here, you mark here. This is where we are going to. Same thing with the other side too. You mark and you mark. Now this nail is going to disturb me, so I want to remove it. So we stick to the markings. Then you remove your backing stock so you can mark the inside. So by the time you remove it, this is what we have. So that means these are the area we'll be going to the side of the backing stock. So from here down to here, at the area will be gumming down, while this other side is the part that will be showing outside. Now to make it a little easier, to make your work faster, easier, so just print this one on the second one. So at least we have our line here. So that's one advantage of using this pen. Then you put this one together. Then you mark your lines here too. Here. Since we are working on the same leg, so that's it. So take your sandpaper, then brush that region gently. It's okay. Same thing with the second leg. And then you brush under here too. Then you come here, brush the leather up to the line you marked. The area you'll be gumming down to the backing stock is where you are filing, this area only. Something like this. This. Just roughen the surface. Then you apply your gum. Now apply your gum here, the area we marked. There. Then underneath the insole, which is the Birkenstock, that's the area we are gumming, we are lasting the upper to. Same for the other leg. Then we wait. So wait like 10 minutes for it to dry. So you are gumming you want to last the upper to the insole, and we already applied our gum. So you see this marking here and here. So we have to follow the marking here first. So get your marking up to the edge of here. See this marking here? Then just follow the marking. So you have something like this. See the way we marked it before. So gum this side first. See this marking? So the same way. So just gum it according to the way you marked it before. Then you can now do the other side with your last. Then you last. So this is the same with the second one. I have the same result. Don't forget to remove your nail. So this is our result for this one. So the next thing is to gum our sole on it. Now I told you we'll be using a macro sole. That's the kind of sole we use for Birkenstock. So you need to have cut the sole to the shape of the Birkenstock. So mark out where your sole is going to be on, so you can file that area. So you want to sandpaper the area you're going to put your sole on, so the sole can stick very well. And if you can cut too, you can use your cutting knife to skive a little. So that area does not reflect in the sole. We show this kind of to print out on the sole that there's something there. And it's not okay for the finishing of the slippers. So that's why we cut it like this. We're not cutting it completely. We're only cutting a portion of it. Just like you are making a slope. Same thing for the second leg too. So the next thing is to put gum on our sole and our working stock. So we want to follow the line we drew before, we marked. It's very important you put gum in every area of the material. Very, very important. Check, cross-check, and check again. So you don't do double work. I want to get the gum everywhere without staining anywhere. Now we wait for the gum to dry. And always remember to cover your gum back. Yeah. So our gum is dry now, so we can commence our gumming. So you have to start from the front. You have to be conscious of the shape. Start from the front here, get the shape right. So you can come to the back. Get the shape at the back. You have to align the sole with the backing stock. Then you can gum sideways. Always gum the tips first, as that's where it's important the most. Because if anybody wants to check a slippers now, there's no way we know if the inside is gum or not. The person will only check the tip. So you have to get the tip gummed properly. So second leg, do the same thing. You have to be very careful. Once you gum back in stock, it's always very difficult to remove it. So put in your last, then hammer the edge. Our baking stock is ready. So you can take the same neutral polish, then apply a little polish on the edge to give it a cool look. And this is our end result. Moving on to the final piece of our practical. Let's try and make this one be the finest of what we've been doing today. So this is the double sole half shoe design. So I'm going to be making use of this wine velvet with this metal ornament. So stay with me. So first we are going to start by cutting the pattern. I'm using the same last. You can use your nail to hold it down so it doesn't move around. And you take your paper . So we want to add a little allowance here. So I'm making something, a little cover that will serve as half shoe and that can serve as slippers. And if you remember what I said when we were cutting the pattern for the hems, you cannot just leave your pattern straight around there. So you need to put a little curve around it. In the case of this one, you can just fold it together, then add the curve. Just add the curve like this. So you have something like this. And if you like, you can take the curve a little bit inside. The more curve we have, the more beautiful it's going to become. So that's our pattern. Let me show you so you can see well. So this is our pattern will look like. We need to add allowance around. We are going to have something like this. This is exactly how it's going to look like by the time we cut the upper. So the next thing is to mark . So we are marking at the back of the velvet. So one and two for the other leg. Okay, we can mark it. So there's one thing about this one. You know, like clothes, we can't leave the edge showing it like this because it's going to start, the threading is going to start removing. So we are going to need to add a little bit of allowance when we are cutting. We are not cutting on the line. We are adding like a centimeter to the line. Only the tip here. The other side you can cut on the line. The round side there you can cut on the line. But you see the tip that will come like this. I need to add that extra 1 centimeter. So you put gum at the tip of the area it left a little space. Meanwhile, for fabric, when you are working on fabric, you can use different type of gum. Some people use this white gum for fabric, but there are some material that you can't use this type of gum. But when you are working on velvet, you can use this type of gum. But when you are working on a transparent material, then it's best to use top bond or get a fabric gum. But for this, we can use this kind of gum. So while waiting for this one to dry, you can try and fixing the ornament. Cut a straight line, mark a straight line. Then you mark 1, 2, 1.5, 1.5. Connect them to the line. And another 1.5. And apply gum on the material like this. So just let this one dry. I will come back from this. So you see this line? This line, the pattern line, the line for the pattern. So that's where we are folding this other one too. You use the line as your marker. Use the line as your marker to fold. You still want to maintain the same shape. So that's why we are using the line. So we have something like this. Same thing for the second leg. You can see the line. Just fold, use the line as your marker to fold. So we can cut out this one too. So you want to fold this one, both sides, you are folding both sides in between to the middle. So you have something like this. You fold this one here, you fold this one here, because we want to remove both edge. You don't want to be seeing the edge at all. So you can close, then between here. Very tiny gum so it doesn't stain our edge. I want to try and avoid gum stain anywhere. You just put a very little gum. Now, we need enough to fold into this ornament. So this is one side. This is what we want to achieve. So we can cut this one into two. Done. So the next thing is to fix the ornament on it. So I want to get the middle here, and they need to be the same length here. So if we have it like this, I did the same. So you can say, let's use 3.5 here. 3.5 here. So you can set it however you want, but let it be proportional to each other. So then you mark the points you are going to gum it on. Just mark here, here. So try not to make it too tight, because if it's too tight, it's going to break. So you need to give it a little breathing space. Then you cut, or you can punch the lines and punch. So you just need to punch it big enough for the chain to enter. Then we can use this one to mark the second leg, instead of needing to go through the process again. Place this one on the other leg. Since we are working in pairs, so what's on left should be the same on right. So just mark. So trim the mouth of this one to ease the entrance into the material. Simple as ABC. So you flip to the back. Apply gum for gumming. Little gum here, gum here, little gum here. So wait a few minutes for it to dry. So this one is dry enough to gum. And mind you, if you want to gum the ornament, so you need to gum it in a way where it can fold easily. Because if it doesn't fold easily, that means it's going to break easily. Because there will be not enough space for the chain to move. So you need to give it allowance. Don't fix it too tight. You don't want it to break easily. So your hammer points a little. Then you use your scissors to cut it down so it doesn't look bulky around there on the surface. So I'll put in our lining. So mark out where you want to put the lining. But the difference is, unlike the ones we've been gumming before, this one we are not gumming it fully this time around. We gum it halfway first. We're only gumming it halfway, up to here, just a little bit below the chain area. So the same way, halfway on the lining too. And wait a few minutes for the gum to dry. So our gum is dry. So you carefully place your material on the lining, carefully to avoid wrinkles. Then you hammer slightly. So if you have access to sewing, you can sew the tip here to add more beauty and to hold the lining down together with the upper. So like this, we are done with the upper. So we move on to lasting. This is what we are trying to achieve. So fix your last to flush with the tip of the insole and nail it down. Same thing for the second leg. And last should flush with the tip of the insole, then your hammer. So now get your sandpaper, hammer this one round. Same thing for the second leg too. Sandpaper it round, make the surface rough, so it will be okay for gum. So then place. So you can place this anyhow you want it to be like. I think this one is okay like this since we cut the pattern with the last. So what we want to do next is to sandpaper the edge. So you can prepare it for gumming. Just make it rough a little. Apply your gum. Be careful with the gum, you don't want to stain the fabric. So we wait for the gum to dry. So while waiting for the gum to dry, get your saw and your sandpaper. Use your sandpaper to file the edge of the saw. File the edge round, erase the smoothness. Erase the smoothness off. You have to do this so that the saw can stick. The insole can stick to the saw very well. So to make the gum more effective, it's important to scratch the surface very well. Do the same for the second leg. So let's start with the lasting of the left leg. So let it backward as much as you like, but not too backward, so it doesn't get to the ankle region. Then gum down the bottom here, and as you can see at the back. Then move to the front. The reason why we didn't gum everything in full was to make it easier to last at the front. So then stretch this one a little bit, then gum it here. Now move to the side. This is called lasting. So we'll be gumming it separately in bits. Then use your hand, then take it bit by bit. If you have a plier, it will help too. You just take it bit by bit. So, and avoid wrinkle as you are folding it. Then here, just comb it down. Stretch it a little bit. Make it tight. So the tighter it is, the firmer is going to be when you wear them. So we want to mark the spots on the second leg, so we don't have one long. So the one will not be longer than the other. Yeah. So we want to try and make everything really the same. Bottom, and stretch the front, then sideways, then start folding. Avoid wrinkle around there, because any wrinkle around there will reflect by the time we fold the material too. So we want to avoid that. Gum it down here too. Yeah, man. Now apply gum here. Up to here. And on the fabric too. The gum on the fabric should not be too much, so it doesn't soak the material. Remember, we are working on fabric, not leather. If the gum is too much, it will penetrate the material and show on the face. We don't want that happening. We want our work to be as neat as possible. So you fold this one gently. Just roll the material on the leather. You can tap it just a little. Or you can even press it like this. And the same way we folded the other part, the lining, I'm going to fold this one too. But this time around, it's more accuracy. I want to make it more tiny. So you want to get the edge like as smooth as it. Any wrinkle here, and there's nothing we can do about it. So we're almost there. Fold gently. So we want to cut out the folded part here. You don't want them disturbing us. Or you can simply use your scissors. And place this on the sole. So you can mark out where we're putting our gum. You have to be precise in the marking. Then you apply your gum. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to use this one. And same thing. Now for the sole, you need to focus on the edge of the sole. That's the most important part. So, and that's it. So you do the same thing for the second leg. The kind of gum we use for this, we use the chemical gum for this, unlike the other ones we've been gumming. So this kind of gum requires heat to activate it. So since we applied the gum like 15 minutes ago, now it's time to gum it. So we heat the sole. We don't want to get in closer to the fire. We just need to apply just little heat. And for the fabric, we are going to be very careful in heating it because we don't want to end up burning the fabric. So we need to raise it a little bit higher. So we do the second leg the same way too. So after applying our heat, we want to remove the last. And starting from the back, so after applying it on this one, so the next thing is to gum the insole to the sole. So starting from the back, you gently place the back against each other, then the front. Then you can start gumming the sides gently. So you put your last back, then you hit it a little. Have to hit it round. So we do the same thing to the other leg too, and you are good to go. So this is our final outcome.